Olivia Gazis, so glad to have you here. Welcome to the table. So we had Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, in the White House briefing room today talking about things she described as new and revelatory. There is a long evidentiary trail about what Russia did or didn't do in the 2016 election, the degree to which the intelligence community under the Obama administration reported that with high confidence, and whether those underlying methods and sources should have been given the credibility they were given. Pick it up from there, if you'd be so kind.
Absolutely. So as you say, Major, there's both a lot to break down here and not that much, because now the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, has declassified upwards of 150 pages of files related to this assessment dating back to 2017 about what Russia did or didn't do in the 2016 election.
Were.
Well, exactly. On the other hand, nothing that she has what she has released has fundamentally altered what the assessment has always been, that the Russian operatives, at the instruction of President Putin, intervened in the 2016 election with a preference for then-candidate Trump. And the key focal point, that document that put it all on paper, is the thing that she is looking to undermine. Today's release involves a report drafted by the Republican majority of the House Intelligence Committee, which in 2017 was a bitterly divided place, which questions the analytic tradecraft that went into arriving at that assessment that Putin preferred Trump. And it includes information about a highly sensitive human source talking to the CIA about what that source knew about Putin's intentions. The report, which was again drafted by Republicans,
one of them, Kash Patel,
exactly, questioned whether analysts understood enough about this source and what he was saying. But that very analysis was already done just weeks ago by CIA Director John Ratcliffe. He came out with a report that looked at the tradecraft, said it shouldn't have been issued with high confidence because this came from one source. It should have been moderate confidence, but again, did nothing to reverse or undermine the finding itself.
And this goes to something that is important in the world that you cover and to people who operate in the intelligence community. What is reported to principals like the president, the vice president, cabinet secretaries with high confidence, medium confidence, low confidence? And it's really a gnawing argument over those confidence levels, not the underlying thrust of what happened or didn't happen in 2016. Do I have that about right?
Absolutely. And there's a cost to these kinds of declassifications, which current and former intelligence officials I've been speaking with today and Democrats on the Hill pointed out that when you declassify highly sensitive material that comes from human sources, that imperils both current human sources and would-be human sources that the CIA is actively trying to recruit. Because why would you put yourself at personal risk your life in some cases, to provide information to the United States government if you see that it is then revealed summarily to the public for political purposes?
Olivia Gazis, so good to have you.